Before we get into the indictment of Trump, I find it hilarious that yesterday, as Trump was turning himself in, the very day, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals awarded Trump $122,000 in legal fees from Stormy Daniels in a defamation case. So while Trump's getting in trouble over here, he's winning over there. Apparently, Stormy Daniels had a defamation case. She was suing Trump because of a tweet or something he said in a tweet, and she lost, and now has to pay a bunch of money to Trump. On the day, the same day Trump is in his arraignment and going through all this stuff, they are also awarding him, he's winning money. I think that's hilarious. Just the timing, that it would fall on the same day. Crazy. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, very funny. So we have the Trump indictment. What is in the Trump indictment? Well, the unsealed 16-page indictment against Donald Trump accuses the former president of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. But it is the accompanying 13-page statement of facts released by the Manhattan District Attorney that gets to the heart of the case. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what a statement of facts are. I don't know if it's not in the indictment. It's an additional document called a statement of facts. Maybe it's just a statement of facts of here are other things that you might want to have in your mind when you're thinking about the actual indictment. I don't know. If you're a lawyer, maybe you can let me know in the comments or something. Anyway, in it, referring to the statement of facts, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg details the allegations that the falsified business records were meant to conceal hush money payments to 3 people alleging extramarital affairs by Trump. Ooh, a rich man, businessman having extramarital affairs. Oh, let's all get upset. That's never happened before. And it makes the case that the payments were made to illegally help Trump's presidential campaign. Of course. Of course. How many dead people are around the Clinton family? I mean, I'm sure every single person who's run for president is doing this. They're cleaning up their history. You know, they don't want certain stories to get out. If I sat here and thought about it, which I'm not going to, but if I did, I'm sure I can make a list of people I might want to reach out to before I ran for president and say, hey, you're going to keep this quiet, right? We all have dirt. And if you're going to run for president and you want to win, you're going to cover your dirt. Because if you don't, your opponent probably will, and then they're going to look real good and you're going to look real bad. So this is probably normal running for president stuff. You try to clean things up, you know. Trump was arraigned, and I'm not saying this to defend Trump. I'm only saying it because it's a probable thing that all politicians are engaged in. That's all. I'm not giving anyone a pass. In fact, there should probably be some laws or investigations into all presidents during their campaigning, and maybe not allow them to do that. But then who would we vote for? Everyone would look like a monster. Anyway, moving on. Trump was arraigned on the charges in Manhattan Criminal Court on April 4th, yesterday, from today, because today is April 5th. And he pled not guilty to all the charges. Oh, what a shock. All right, the indictment. The charging indictment itself is short on the specifics of the case. As we said, it lists 34 counts of violating New York state law by falsifying business records in the first degree, a Class E felony. The language of each count is nearly identical, accusing Trump of making false records. Quote, with intent to defraud and intent to commit another crime and aid and conceal the commission thereof. End quote. Legal talk, meaning these false records were done with the intent to cover up or in connection with another crime. Of the charges, 11 counts are related to invoices filed by former Trump attorney Michael Cohen. Another 11 counts are related to the checks issued from Trump accounts or trusts. And the other 12 counts are related to voucher entries in the, quote, detail general ledger for Donald J. Trump, end quote. All right. So it's a bunch of accounting stuff. invoices and stuff. Clerical stuff, one might say. Each of the records was made in 2017 and was kept and maintained by the Trump Organization, according to the indictment. For 9 straight months, the defendant held documents in his hands containing this key lie, that he was paying Michael Cohen for legal services performed in 2017, Bragg said in a press conference after the arraignment. And he personally signed checks for each of these 9 months. Okay. Now, the statement of facts. In addition to the indictment, Bragg released a 13-page statement of facts that laid out the details and legal basis for the charges brought against Trump. In New York, in order for the charge of falsifying business records to be bumped up to a felony, one must commit the crime of falsifying business records when the intent to defraud includes an intent to commit another crime or to aid or conceal the commission thereof. I'm not sure what that last part means, to aid or conceal the commission thereof. Anyway, and how Bragg got there is summarized in the first 2 paragraphs of the document. Here we go. The good part. The defendant, Donald J. Trump, repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. Okay, what about the Biden laptop? From August 2015 to December 2017, the defendant, Trump, orchestrated a scheme with others to influence the 2016 presidential election by identifying and purchasing negative information about him to suppress its publication and benefit the defendant's electoral prospects. Of course. Of course. That's how you win. You cover up. You cover up your dirt. You hide it. You pay people off so they don't go to the press. When you run for president, you get a real big name. Everyone's looking at you, and people out there are gonna be like, ooh, I grew up with him, or I knew him, a long time ago, and I have this story that'll make him look bad. I can make some money if I sell that. That's, of course, you got to buy those people out. In order to execute the unlawful scheme, the participants violated election laws and made and caused false entries in the business records of various entities in New York. The participants also took steps that mischaracterized for tax purposes the true nature of the payments made in furtherance of the scheme. Dun, dun, dun. According to Bragg, who spoke in a press conference after the arraignment, in the run-up to the presidential election, Trump, Cohen, and David Pecker, CEO of American Media Inc., cooked up a scheme to catch and kill damaging stories to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election. Catch and kill is where you catch a story and kill it before it gets to the news. That's just a saying there. All right, so then the rest of this article kind of goes through the first case back in 2015, where they paid off a doorman. Second case was in 2016, where Karen McDougal, a former Playboy model, claimed she had an extended affair with Trump. All probably true. I mean, even if all of this stuff's true, I mean, who cares? He's a dude. He's a rich dude. I mean, all these people, have stuff going on. I mean, look at Bill Clinton. He got caught in the Oval Office with that chick. It's all going on. None of this is surprising to me. Let me just skip down here to here we go. This payment was illegal. The lawyer A, Cohen, has since pleaded guilty to making an illegal campaign contribution and served time in prison, the statement says. Further false entries were made in New York business records to effectuate this payment, separate and apart from the New York business records used to conceal the payment. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. They caught some weird things in the ledger and in the money. Let's see what else. Cohen pleaded guilty to 2 campaign finance law violations and admitted in open court that he paid $130,000 to Stormy Daniels, to silence her during the 2016 presidential election at the direction of Trump, fine. All right, under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with an intent to defraud and intent to conceal another crime, Braggs said. This is exactly what this case is about. All right. Okay. Anyway, first of all politicians are doing this. That's my belief. The reason we're hearing about all of these type of things happening with Trump is because a lot of people do not like Trump. I would go as far to say a lot of people hate Trump, but especially this guy Alvin Braggs. Alvin Braggs, the district attorney there in Manhattan, who's trying to get Trump, when he was campaigning to become the DA, he campaigned his like campaign thing that he was trying to convince people of to vote for him is that he would take down Trump. I mean, he's been wanting to do this. So there's a couple things I want to mention here. Number one, I'm not bothered by any of these allegations against Trump. If all of them are true, and he's been paying people off to not, talk about his extramarital affairs and all that, I don't care. I assume Trump has a shady past and does a bunch of shady things. I assume Biden does too. I assume Obama did. I assume all of our politicians are just total monsters with dark, evil pasts. This is the kind of people these people are. None of that, whoever he's banging, doesn't really affect me. I don't care who anyone else is banging. I don't even care if the president is banging people. I only care if you're going to be a good president. Okay, that being said, he got caught, and now he's going to have to deal with it, not just in court, but also the court of public opinion. It's going to affect how people think of Trump and what kind of person he is. I think most people already think pretty low of Trump. But another interesting thing is that I don't know if they're going to even be able to get him. I don't think any of these felony charges are going to stick, and he may even get the whole case dismissed. It doesn't look strong, because even if all those things are true, they have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that there was intent, that whatever they're seeing in the books and charging him for, that there was truly an intent to conceal or to hide certain things. But it's hard to prove that when it's on the books. It's not like a secret thing. It's pretty out in the open. And I was also watching a video earlier where some lawyer people were talking about how the case is just full of errors, and any first-year law student would look at it and be like, this is garbage. I don't understand enough about law and how you build a case to know that for myself, but that's just what I'm hearing. And they've been trying to get Trump for a long time on a bunch of different things, and so far, nothing has worked. I don't think this is going to work either. It would be pretty crazy if it does. So those are some of my thoughts. Another thought I have is the justice system. This is interesting. I actually had pulled this up. The justice system, the manhattanDA.org says right here, Manhattan District Attorney's Office, one standard of justice for all. That's hilarious, because this DA, Braggs, campaigned on bringing down Trump and getting him, no matter what. He didn't have a case back then. He was just he's like, I'll do whatever it takes just to get Trump. That's not how the law is supposed to work. You don't go after people. You don't have personal vendettas. We don't want to vote people into positions of power that have personal vendettas against someone and are going to look in every way possible to bring them down. That's not justice for all. That's justice for some, and then I'm going to attack and bring you down, for some others. And if it were justice for all, there are so many reasons to indict all kinds of other politicians and people, but they all get a pass. The Bidens got a pass with the laptop thing. Hillary gets a pass when she got caught, paying for I don't know the whole case, but the Russian collusion story that was all made up, and she got caught for that. People, got in trouble for that, but they all get a pass. No one's being brought to court criminal court. No, everyone just gets fined. I think in the case of Hillary, they got fined. They got $100,000 fine, whatever the number is. They get a fine, and everybody moves on. But in the case of Trump, it's different because the justice system is not behaving fairly. The justice system is not treating everyone the same. The justice system, at least in New York or in Manhattan, is they're selectively deciding who they're going to prosecute and who they're not based on if they like them or not, or if they're a political opponent or not. And that's not a democracy. In a democracy, the people have the power to vote for who they want in office. But when you have political people using the law selectively to attack and take down political opponents, that becomes like political warfare. And then we don't have the power to decide for ourselves who we want in office. That's not a democracy at all. We should always have the say, vote, and choose our own candidates. So when people are freaking out and they're like, "Oh, it's setting a precedent," and "Oh, it's unprecedented," and "Oh, precedent," a lot of that word, precedent, unprecedented, precedents. But it is setting a precedent that in the future, we can start taking former presidents to court over stuff, and we can catch them doing things. And now look, if Democrats take Trump to court and then that becomes okay to do, and like he was the first, okay, now there's a precedent for Republicans to take former Democrat presidents to court. And then we're going to get in this whole it could open the doors to political warfare. And that's not how democracy works. That's how tyrannical regimes work. They get in power. They use their power to, eliminate their opponents and their competition so that they can keep their power. We don't want that. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It could be a while before there's any more indictment news because I believe they have to set a trial date. I think they did. I think it's for like June or July, something like that. Anyway, whenever something new comes out, I will get you up to date.